I'm Ayabe's lawyer. Let me through.
Sorry, no lawyers allowed yet.
Well done, but let him pass. I'll vouch for him personally.
Chief Prosecutor?
Thanks.
Were you aware there was an underground casino hidden down here, Yagami-san?
Wow, I had no idea.
Our friend Ayabe was really something, wasn't he? Who would have thought he'd take bribes from an illicit underground casino? Not to mention selling confidential police intel to the criminal underbelly of this town. Shintane-sensei surely stumbled upon Ayabe's secret. And so Ayabe killed him to make sure the truth stayed hidden. Quickly, with a police-issued handgun.
I see. That's the story the prosecution is telling, huh?
We can speak further once we get inside.
I've learned a lot about you, Chief Prosecutor. About the tragedy in your family 10 years ago.
Then someone has betrayed me?
Someone you betrayed. Someone who trusted you for years. I have to say, it was strange seeing how you behaved in Shono's lab. A public prosecutor, the so-called defenders of justice, chose to protect 89 over the sanctity of the law. I think it's time you drop the act.
My mother, she was afflicted with early onset Alzheimer's. The disease progressed quickly. Not long after she started showing symptoms, she couldn't even recognize my face. Whenever I went to visit her, I was greeted with, "Nice to meet you," as if she didn't know who I was. Occasionally, she'd yell at me, accuse me of being a thief or a murderer. Watching my mother's mind deteriorate, well, it nearly broke me. And yet my brother continued caring for her. He was there when I couldn't be, all by himself. When we were young, he and I had both dreamt of becoming lawyers. He devoted himself to his studies, far better than I ever did. Practically worked himself to the bone. Yet, ultimately, he never managed to pass the bar. I can only imagine how he felt when I passed on my first attempt. And yet, he was happy for me, almost as if my success was his. He was truly a good man.
Please, go on.
When we learned that my mother had Alzheimer's, my brother was devastated by the news. He took it hard. I, on the other hand, was filled with internal conflict. I was torn between caring for my ailing mother and continuing my burgeoning career as a lawyer. But my brother could sense how I felt, and then he said to me, "Don't worry, leave Mom to me. Your success is all that matters. As long as you make it, my dream comes true too." And so, he continued caring for our mother for 7 long years, 24 hours a day, a woman who couldn't even recognize him as her own son. Whereas I ran further and further away. But somewhere, deep down in my heart, I knew it couldn't continue that way, that someday he would break.
And the regret you feel, that failure, is what led you to 89. When was it?
After Shintane Sensei's murder. Not long after, Vice Minister Ichinose summoned me personally to fill me in on the details.
He did? But why?
Ichinose-san predicted that the prosecutor's office would discover the dark truth about 89 before long. And upon looking into some family histories, he discovered what happened to my mother. When he realized the extent of it, he knew I would be sympathetic to their cause. His proposal was quite clear. 89 was a groundbreaking new drug, meant to save countless suffering patients and families. But if it was to see the light of day, I would have to look the other way for a while.
Prosecutor Morita, have you heard this saying before? Fire tempers iron, and temptation steals the just. If someone told you they knew how to make mankind immortal at the sacrifice of a few, you would have looked the other way no matter how many people had to die.
I do feel guilt. I can't deny that. That's the only reason I'm still here.
Shono has killed people to cover this up. Emi Terasawa died for it. What about her? Did she deserve that? Meanwhile, Shinpei Okubo was falsely convicted and sentenced to death. He wakes up every day not knowing if it's his last. What did he do to deserve that? Your guilt is nothing more than an act. Do you even realize what it is you're doing?
That's enough.
How do you think your brother would feel if he saw what you were doing now? Huh? Tell me, Morita!
Shut up! Just shut up!
If you want me to shut up, you're gonna have to kill me. Morita, Okubo-kun and Ayabe are depending on me. Emi Terasawa deserves justice too. And I'm not stopping until I get it.
Hey, Tak. Kuroiwa's here. I believe that's enough, Morita-san. Long time no see. Seems you're already back in action. Guess I went too easy.
You little...
So, another 2 versus 1 fight? Is Yagami joining us?
What are you doing here?
I suggest you turn a blind eye to this. You're good at that, aren't you?
Kaito-san. Think you could stay out of this?
Like hell I will.
You already had your turn. Kuroiwa killed Matsugane-san. And well, it's about time I pay him back for what he did.
Touching words,
Jag är glad
Yagami-san.
graphics så han ser better.
But now is the time for action. Don't worry. I won't arrest you for obstruction on this.
Don't talk to me about arrests. You're not even a cop. You're a goddamn assassin!
She's got beach. Damn. Damn. Oh shit.
Kill you right here and now. Let's finish
Yep. Space shot, space shot, space shot, space shot. Bitches.
I'm done with this. I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Calm down. How would you even cover this up? There are limits to how much protection I can offer you. You have no reason to be here.
Kaito-san, let's go.
Get back! Everyone step away, now! Shut your trap, asshole! What station you from? Think you're tough shit, huh? What's going on in there?
What are they doing? Those guys are Matsugane family, aren't they?
Damn right. They're probably worried about you or something. Afraid the 89 boys would come try to erase you, you know?
What?
Hey, there he is. Come on, we're out of here.
Hoshino-kun.
Yagami-san, when I heard you were here with Morita and Kuroiwa,
I get it. You're the one who called Higashi over, aren't you?
that's right. If I hadn't, who knows what dirty tricks they would have used. I couldn't take that risk.
I appreciate that, Hoshino.
And I'm really sorry for what happened in Kito's office. I was out of line. You deserve trust, and I didn't give it. Yagami-san, I messed up. What I did was unacceptable. Threatening a witness is just... It's not how I want to go about winning this case, Yagami-san.
Got one thing to say.
What?
Iron burns temptation, while the just are often tested by fire.
Huh?
Everybody believes in me, yo.
Wait! Get back here! What's going on? Hey, what the hell was that? He's got a black raincoat. Who are you?
Tori wrote this, huh?
Yep. Said he tried to get it out just in time for today's trial.
Illegal human experiments discovered in Kamurocho. Dementia drug AD9, the focus. These pictures.
I took him when we broke into Shono's lab.
Nice work.
Guess it's almost time.
Defendant, please state your name and date of birth for the record.
Kazuya Ayabe. Born on July 2nd, 1983.
And where are you currently residing?
This is the first trial for the murder of Masamichi Shintani. The defendant, a crooked cop by the name of Kazuya Ayabe. The bullet found in Shintani's body bore the rifling marks from Ayabe's gun. That's the most significant piece of evidence they have against him. But that was all a cover-up perpetrated by the mole, Kuroiwa. Ayabe is innocent. In other words, this trial is little more than a farce. At least, until this very moment.
The prosecution moves to call a witness to the stand. Someone who can deny this case's link to the ADDC. The Vice Minister of the Ministry of Health, Kaoru Ichinose.
The ADDC bears most of the responsibilities carried out by the Medical Institute. Most notably, the development of AD-9, which was announced to the world last year. Director Kido has done a fine job overseeing its evolution into a matter of national import.
Can you tell the court what exactly AD-9 is?
It's a revolutionary drug meant to be a complete cure for Alzheimer's disease. Given how pressing the drastic increase in dementia patients is, we've placed great faith and hope into AD-9.
Thank you. I have no further questions. Members of the jury, despite the defense's claims that the ADDC is somehow related to this case, the prosecution holds that it is an absurdity to link such a reputable institution to the horrible murder that took place not long ago. That is all.
You may begin the cross-examination, counsel.
You're the Vice Minister of the Ministry of Health, correct? Pretty high rank.
That is what the title implies, yes.
You must have really stood out to attain that position. Maybe you did something extra special that got you noticed?
I'm not sure how this is relevant to the case at hand.
Oh, come now. Why not indulge him?
What?
Think back to 2002, the year the Medical Institute was founded. I hear you spearheaded that whole operation. As a result, many new organizations came into being, the ADDC included. Naturally, many Ministry of Health officials welcomed this move because... You made numerous new positions for senior executives to retire into. Thanks to you, they'd have a stable income well into old age.
Is this really the place to be discussing such accusations?
This center, that lab, who cares what hospital? Consultancy positions sprung up for those facilities left and right. And who better to fill them than former Ministry of Health execs? They'd never have to worry about finding employment again. It was a crafty move, Chinose-san. One I'm sure the ministry leadership loved you for. I could see why you ended up vice minister. However, the good times didn't last forever. In the months and years after its founding, people slowly caught on to the Medical Institute's total lack of output. And with the country in a recession, they started zeroing in on the Institute's funding. The vast amounts of money being poured into supporting it seemed like nothing more than a waste. Before long, closing the Institute outright didn't seem out of the question. Plans were even set in motion to redevelop the land once it was gone. Rumor had it that Minister Kasumi had actually approved those plans internally.
Are all your arguments going to be based on hearsay?
Speaking of hearsay, Kamurocho's been buzzing with talk of this murderer who gouges people's eyes out. That killer is an assassin I've termed the Mole. But the truth of it is, those murders are the result of human experiments for AD-9, carried out in a secret lab in the heart of the city.
This is all purely gossip.
Members of the jury, AD-9's development is about to enter the clinical trial phase. However, ADDC researchers have already carried out clinical trials behind closed doors. Several people have died as a result.
What?
Of course, it tried to keep that a secret, but it eventually found its way out. And I have the evidence to prove it. This is a photo of Shintani-sensei's corpse.
Please elaborate to the jury what exactly you mean by that.
The mole murdered him to keep the information he knew from getting out. He knew all about the serial murders taking place in Kamurocho, and that someone at the ADDC was deeply involved. And so, Shintani-sensei had to be silenced.
Not so fast.
Wait, what?
You need some evidence if you're going to accuse the ADDC of murdering Shintani-sensei. And from the way you're grasping at straws, it doesn't sound like you have it.
Oh, right.
Yagami-san, come on.
Apologies. If you'll allow me to start again. ADDC researchers were carrying out clinical trials behind closed doors in order to speed up the development of 89. Of course, they tried to keep that a secret, but it eventually found its way out. And I have the evidence to prove it. Take a look at this. The victim in this case, Shintani-sensei, was inching ever closer to the truth. That's why he called the ADDC. Isn't that right, Ichinose-san?
Please elaborate to the jury what exactly you mean by that.
Not long before his death, Shintani-sensei was told a secret by Captain Hamura of the Matsugane family. A secret that led him right to the ADDC. This secret was that someone from the ADDC was connected to the serial murders taking place in Kamurocho. And so, Shintani-sensei called the center and asked specifically for a researcher named Shono. The man spearheading the 89 human experiments.
Enough of this nonsense! Human experimentation. Don't be ridiculous. What kind of trial is being run here? How can he say whatever he wants without a single piece of evidence? Why doesn't the prosecution stop him?
Sorry. I was enjoying hearing what he had to say.
Have you lost your mind?
Ichinose-san, I'm not finished with my line of questioning.
Excuse me?
Actually, it's more of a confirmation than a question. Do you know who Shinpei Okubo is?
Yes. He's the murderer you set free 3 years ago.
I set him free, yes. But he's not a murderer.
Oh
The
yeah!
one who actually killed Wakusan and Emi Terasawa
Well, Shono.
was the same Shono I mentioned earlier.
This garbage again?
Don't act like you don't already know all of this. You're just not coming clean. Even though Okubo-kun's sitting on death row, waiting for the day they decide it's his turn.
Enough! I was only asked here to explain to the jury about AD9 and the ADDC. How dare you treat me like this?
Shono hired the mole to murder for you! That was the only way you'd have patience for your underground human experiments. And all to protect the interests of 89.
You can't make these claims without proof. Show me your evidence.
If you say so.
What?
Just the other day, someone reached out to me over in Kamurocho. They wanted to entrust me with a crucial piece of information.